G'day there everyone, Daniel Anderson here. Now in today's video we are going to build out a personalized intranet homepage complete with news and events and quick links, recent documents, the logged in users, most frequented sites, plus also a global navigation that is relevant and targeted at the user that is logged in. We're going to start this completely from scratch. Now as we can see on the screen here, this is kind of the end result that we're going to build out today. Now, one of the most common questions that I get is, Daniel, where do we start? Can you give me an example, or what can we actually do? What should we put on a homepage of our intranet? What's going to be relevant for users? We don't just want to bombard them with news and events and updates and things like that. We want it to be really targeted so that when a user logs in, they're seeing what is relevant to them and their role. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. There's going to be a lot of different web parts that we'll use and a lot of different concepts that you can take away and start to implement straight away. So let's just dive in and have a look at what we're going to create. So we can see on the screen here a typical intranet landing page. So we've got our global navigation across the top here. It is a mega menu. It's a drop down menu here. We've got a few little emojis here bringing people's attention to a new item in the global navigation with the new emoji, and we've also got a video camera emoji here that highlights this as executive updates playlist. If we scroll down the page, we've got some featured news, we've got quick links, we've got resources, we've also then got some more news and updates, some things from departments and our services. And then if we keep scrolling down, we've got our events, we've got some links here to company and culture rich resources. And then on the right hand side, this is where we put our most personalized information and access to certain things. So we've got our Viva Connections dashboard here where we can have a look at our holidays. We can also schedule a health check here. And then if we scroll down the page a little bit further, we've got my recent documents, so things that I've accessed recently, and also a site list here of the most frequented sites that I use on a day-to-day basis. So that's what we're going to build out. Now let's start with our blank communication site, and we're going to start at the top of the page. So that is the header. So top right hand corner, let's click on the cog menu and we will go to change the look. So we'll click on change the look, we'll go to header. Now we've got 4 different options here. So we've got minimal, we've got compact, we've got standard, and we've got extended. So the option I'm going to choose is extended here. We can choose our background color. Now I am going to choose this teal or this green color here. Actually, let's make it a lighter green color here. Now we can upload an image. Because we're in the extended, we've chosen the extended layout option for our header. We can have the option here to upload a background header image. Now I want to keep this nice and clean. So the image that I'm going to actually upload is just a white image. All right, so you can see that I've added a white image. It changes that header now to white, and we've still got our site logo and our title. So if I keep scrolling down here, I want to turn off the site title visibility, so I'll use this toggle. Now the site logo, this is where I want to have, or this is the logo thumbnail. So this is what appears in your roll-ups, in your searches and that type of thing there. So I am going to upload our site logo thumbnail, and that's the logo that we want. Now the site logo is different. That's what's going to appear on the actual site itself. So let's change our site logo here, and we'll choose a different logo. So that's the logo that we're going to choose, and you can see that that gets represented in the header of the site. Now I want our logo alignment to be in the center. So I'll choose center, and you can see now that I've got the logo on a white background in the center of the page. I'm going to save that. That's looking good. All right, so that is now the header taken care of. We've got our navigation, our global navigation here that we can edit as well. So when we pop this into edit mode, this is where we can build out our global navigation. All right, so what we're going to do here is let's just remove all of these links. So we'll remove, and then we'll actually remove the home as well, and we will add a new link. So I'm going to jump on and use the links from our our example site here. So I'm just going to jump back into the site that we're on at the start, and you can see here that we've got our global navigation. I'm going to pop this into edit mode, and I'm just going to scroll down, and I will copy the link here. So it's going to be the newsletter HQ, and then we'll jump in here, we'll pop the link in the address. And then what we will need to do though is we'll need to pull in the full URL because we are now on a different site. So we'll go that as the URL. Now the display name, this is where we can get a little bit crafty here and use our little emojis. Now a good thing here, and something that I use quite frequently, is using this new emoji whenever we add something new to the global navigation. It just highlights to the end users that this is a new link, and it does bring people's attention to that particular item. So we'll go newsletter HQ there. The other thing that we will do is we'll add a link to our policies. So I'm just going to make this a label. So this isn't going to have any link, and we'll go policies. We'll then also add one more here, and we'll use the executive updates as an example. So we'll pop in here, we'll copy the link, and we'll just add this in there. Again, what we're going to do is we're just going to copy the site address because we're on a different site and that relative URL isn't going to work for us. So we'll do that, and then we'll also grab the executive updates display name, and we'll go like this. Now I did copy, just realized I did copy the other link, so we're going to change the back part of this URL. So we'll go and paste in the correct one. It's going to be a link to a playlist, okay? And we'll go okay. And I've pasted that in the wrong component. So what we're going to do there is we've got that, and let's go back into here. We'll copy the display name, and then we'll jump back into the display name and we will paste that like so, and we'll hit save. So we've got a few little navigation items up on our page. Now the next thing that we're going to do also is remove this hero web part. So let's go ahead, pop this page into edit mode. Let's now scroll up, and we're going to actually delete this full width section. So I don't want this full width section, and I don't want that hero web part, because if we jump back onto this page here, what we'll see is that we've got a split column layout here. Now this on the right hand side is what we call a vertical section. So we're going to hit the add button, and we're going to choose our vertical section, and you'll see that that gets put on the right hand side. Now unfortunately we can't move the location of that, so that's always going to be on the right hand side of the page, and this is where we're going to add our personalized web parts and our content there. Now on this main part, I'm going to add a new section, and I'm going to choose this configuration. So it's 1/3 right. So we've got a bigger portion on the left and a thinner portion on the right hand side. Now on the right, we're going to add our quick links. So we're going to search for our quick links web part, and then on the left hand side here, we're going to add a news web part. So out of the box, we've got a news web part. Now we can have multiple instances of any web part on a page, and that's the case here with our news web part. Our news web part is going to act in different ways in different parts of this page. Now you can see also that we can change the layout options. Now, more often than not, people, and you might be the same, you want a carousel of our featured news. So I'm going to change the layout here to carousel view, and I'll pop this web part into edit mode because I want to choose a specific news source for our featured news. So I'm going to select select sites, and I will choose Microsoft Loop HQ. Okay, so that's going to be the source of our featured news for our carousel, and that's only what's going to be displayed there. So if we keep scrolling down the page, we can see that we can change our layout in this panel. We can also choose the number of news posts to show. We'll leave it at 4. We can also have this news automatically cycling, or if we toggle that off, it will just be a manual cycle through there. So we'll leave everything as is for that particular web part. So we've got our quick links, and we've got our featured news. So I'm going to just give this web part a title called Featured News, and then we might just also give this a little emoji. So I'm just going to choose the megaphone emoji here, and we'll choose that for our heading. Let's now continue on down the page. All right, so the next section that we're going to build out here is this department news and our services news. Okay, so here we're going to again use that layout, and we'll add our quick links in just a second. So we've got department news and our services news. You can see it's the same format or the same layout option here. So this section, let's add another section. We'll choose 1/3 right again. Now I'm just going to reuse this news web part here. I'll drag and drop this up the top here. And then what we will do is we're going to use the layout of top story. Okay, so we'll choose top story. And again, what we're going to do, because we've got no news on this site for this example, I'm just going to use this selected site as our example like so. All right, so you can see there, same things that we've got. We've got our options to, now because we've chosen top story, we can choose compact news and show number of views and that type of thing on this particular layout option. Now on the right hand side, again, I'm going to add another news web part. So we'll go to news. This time I want this a little bit, let's go side by side. So I want it to display a little bit differently. So again, just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to choose, let's actually choose a couple of different sites. So I might choose sales and marketing operations and the Microsoft Loop HQ site there as well. All right. So let's republish that and take a look at how this looks at this point in time. All right, so we'll publish that. We can see that we've got our featured news. It's got in a carousel format. We've got our news on the left-hand side in this section here, and we've got our news on our right-hand side in this column of that particular section. Now let's just go back and have a look at this page here. So we'll pop this particular page into edit mode, and we'll have a look at the settings of this this particular one here. So if we pop this into edit mode, we can see that we've got the side-by-side view, we've got show title and commands, and we've got all of these toggles already set. All right, so it's the same configuration option there that we've got in these web parts. Now let's jump back into edit mode. We'll continue building on our page. So if we keep scrolling down, we've got our events list here. So what we're going to do is we will hit the plus button, we'll add a new section, and let's just reuse this events web part that gets added to a page by default when we create a new site. So you can see here, but it's a different layout option, or it's a different look and feel. So you can see here, we've got two options with our events web part. We've got compact and we've got film strip. So when I select compact, it shrinks our little tiles down and we get that view there. Keep scrolling down. I don't want this documents web part, and I don't want this quick links web part here. All right, I don't want this people web part, so we're just going to remove what we don't want. Okay, and you'll also see that we've got two sections here. So I'm just going to delete this section, and now we've got just that single one column section where our events are. Jumping back onto the example homepage, you can see that we've got a section here, and this is a quick links web part, but you'll notice that it's displaying a little bit differently. All right, so let's go back onto the homepage that we're building, and we're going to add a web part. It's going to be another instance of the web part quick links. Now, if you remember, we've got our quick links up the top here, but we've also got another quick links web part that we've added to the page. Now, in this layout, we are going to choose the grid layout. All right, so that allows us to add an image up the top there. So we've got our quick links. Let's give this a title. So let's go community and culture as the title, and then we can add our links as we need to. All right, so the structure of the page is now working the way that we want, is looking the way that we want. Now on the right hand side, this is where I want all of our personalized content. So what's relevant to me as the user. And there's a few different web parts that we're going to add out of the box to this section. All right, so let's go for the sites. There's a web part that we can use called sites, and that is going to allow us to show the sites that are relevant or most frequently used for the logged in user. So again, we'll pop this into edit mode. One of these options here, now we could choose specific sites if we wanted to. All right, so we could go that one, and this one. And then we can choose the film strip. And if we choose grid or compact, and you'll see here that this little thumbnail, if we remember back to when we were setting up the header, we had the option to have a site thumbnail logo and also the site header. So the site thumbnail logo is what this particular image is right here. Now, we don't want to select our sites though. We want to have the frequent sites for the current user. So this is going to be dynamic and depending on the user that is logged in. Let's just reduce the number, and we'll just reduce it to number to show 4. All right. We continue down here, and another option that we've got is recent documents. And this again is an out-of-the-box web part that is configured automatically. There's nothing really to configure here except for the number of documents that we're going to display. Now we might want to show those up the top. So let's have our recent documents across the top and our most frequent sites across the bottom here. Give this a title. Let's go my frequent sites as the title of the web part. And we'll go up here, we'll go my recent documents like so. All right, let's republish and take a look at how this looks now. All right, so we'll republish this page, and we're starting to get our intranet homepage almost ready to test out for us. Okay, so let's continue building. All right, so there's our site as it stands right now. Let's continue to add some content to our page. So we're going to add some quick links. All right, so what we're going to do here is use this quick links up the top. So let's add a few links to a few different resources. Now you can see here we've got a few actionable items, how to apply for leave, our policy, events, professional development, staff directory, etc. So we're just going to use the same link for all of these, just as the example. So let's go how to apply for leave. And you can see with our quick links, we've got an auto select option. So it reads what this particular resource is. You can see it's a SharePoint page, so it adds the SharePoint logo. But we want to choose a specific icon. And let's choose the plane icon. So we'll search for plane. We'll add our airplane icon like so, and we're good for our first link. We'll go and add another link. So let's add a link to our staff directory. So we'll go staff directory. Again, we will choose an icon. This time, let's choose the people icon. All right, so we'll choose our people icon, and now we've got our link. Again, let's just keep adding some more items here. So let's link to our policy hub. Always a common frequently accessed location in any intranet is our policy hub. So let's provide a quick access to that particular hub. So we will choose our document. Let's go this one here. All right, so we'll go all of our approved policies live in our policy hub. Now let's add a couple more. Let's have a look at our example, acceptable use policy. So let's choose, and we'll create one for our usage policy. Again, we'll choose our icon, and we'll choose another document icon here. So we'll just wait for that to load. There we go. And we'll choose that. So we'll search again. Let's search for policy. All right, so we'll go for policy this time, and we'll choose that icon like so. One more and then we're done. So we'll go add another quick link and let's go for reports. All right, so we'll just choose the same page. We'll choose the title as reports. And again, let's go for a different icon again, and we'll search for a reports icon. And take out the S and we'll choose report and we will select that one. All right, so here is our quick links. Let's give this a title. Let's maybe even give it a little icon. So let's go the rocket ship for this one. So there's our quick links. All right, so we've got our featured news and we've got our quick links. Keep scrolling down the page. Let's just give this a let's go for department news for this one. Department news, and again we might give this an icon. Let's go for news, and we'll give it a newspaper. This one we will choose, and we'll have this one coming from all of our services sites. So this here we could choose, because this is specific to services, we might have an architecture that we know which services we want to show the news from in here. So this is where we would choose selected sites and choose our sites like so. So again, what we might do is just highlight this a little bit, and we'll give this a new, actually let's give this a star icon. So we'll change that to star. So we've got our services news, we've got our events. Again, let's just highlight the title of this by choosing a calendar icon. So here we've got, and we'll change this to upcoming events. Now, community and culture, let's add a few different links to our community and culture quick links dashboard here. So let's add a link. And now for this particular one, we're going to use some custom images. So we can choose, and just to give it a more appealing visual impact. So let's have a look at our stock images. We'll just choose a couple and we'll build this out. And let's have a look at what we're linking to in our company and culture. So let's go meet the employees. So we'll choose the title called Meet the Employees, like that. We'll add another link. We'll choose another stock image here. So we'll build this out. Let's choose a confetti icon. What else have we got here? We've got, and let's choose, and let's edit this one here. So I'm just going to copy and paste the text here. Save me writing it out. So we'll copy and paste, and we'll go that there. Let's add another link, and we'll choose this one here, and we'll go copy and paste our title. Let's choose our stock images, and we'll choose our toothbrushes, and let's go like so. We're editing the wrong one here. Here we go. So we'll choose that one here, and we'll jump back and we'll do one more here. We'll do the innovation hub. So we will jump back, we'll add a link. We'll just choose that home page one more time. We'll choose a custom image. Let's change the custom image, and we'll go to stock images, and then let's choose our stock images. We'll choose this one here, and we'll give this one a title. So we'll paste in that title there, and we should be now good to go. So let's republish, and we'll take a look at where we're at now. So that is looking good. We've got our news, we've got our links, we've got our recent documents, we've got our frequent sites, service news, department news. Now let's break up this content a little bit, because it's all on a whitish background. All right, so I'm going to jump down here into this section, and we're just going to change the background of this section to gray. Now you can do that to any section, and it is a good way to break up the contents of each section as well, and it puts it into different types of layers. So we can see we've got white at the top, we've got our sidebar on the right. Now what sometimes looks good too is this vertical section here. We could also match that with the same color as that section that we just put the background on. So we'll republish that page, and now we've got our right-hand column is gray. We've got our news section here, which is gray as well. We've got our upcoming events, and we've got our company and culture section down below. Now, that's all well and good, and it's starting to build out quite nicely. But this is the same content that's being delivered to everybody that lands on this page. We want to try and create a more personalized approach to our intranet homepage. So we want to have maybe some audience targeting. Now we can turn on audience targeting in any of those in most of these web parts that we've added to our page. Not all web parts, but in our case, we've got our news, we've got our links, even our navigation, we can have some audience targeting in. So let's go ahead now and have a look at how we enable audience targeting, and we need to do that in a couple of different locations. Now, first of all, we're going to take a look at our news. So we'll edit our page and we will edit the properties of this web part. Now this is the same, remembering we've got multiple instances of the news web part on the page. And if we scroll down a little bit, we've got this toggle button here that allows us to enable audience targeting. Now that enables it on the web part, not on the actual content. So we need to also enable the audience targeting functionality when we're creating news articles in this case. Okay, this just allows the web part to display that audience targeted content in this actual web part itself. So we've turned that on, but that's not going to do anything right now. So all of our news and our site pages are located in a document library called Site Pages. So we need to go into the site contents and we need to jump into the settings of this Site Pages library, and we need to turn on the audience targeting functionality. You'll see here under General Settings, under Audience Targeting Settings, that we can now turn this on and we can enable audience targeting. So that means now when we create a news article, we can target that at a specific audience. All right, so let's jump back onto the home page. And let's now enable our audience targeting on our quick links. So we'll jump into edit mode again. We'll go to quick links and we'll edit this web part here. And again, we've got the ability here to enable audience targeting. We'll turn this on. Now the difference here is that enables it now on this web part. All right, so we're not creating pages or anything like that or additional content. We're actually creating these links in the context of this web part. So I can now insert a new web part. Now what you'll see is this option here to target this link at a specific audience. Now let's add a new item here, and let's call this Department Resources. Okay, so I'll call this Resources. Now let's have a look at the audiences. So I've got some security groups in this tenant that start with SG. So let's target this particular link at SG-IT. So this link will only appear for members of this security group. All right, so and you'll notice here that this link changes and we've got a little people icon that just shows us when we're in edit mode that this has been targeted at an audience. So I'll republish that. And you'll see here that that actually disappears. It's not visible to Megan because she's not part of that security group. But when I pop it into edit mode, we will see that link appear there and we can see that this has been targeted. Now, these news web parts, again, what we would need to do is if we want targeted audience targeting on these specific web parts, then again, we would need to visit the properties of each web part and turn on the audience targeting for each of those web parts as well. So we've done that for those two. Now we can also do this for our events. All right, so if we add our events, we can see here that we can also enable audience targeting for our events as well. Same thing, this is just a links list. So if we wanted to have this one here, audience targeted as well, we could enable it for this quick links web part. Now, because this is an all company type of quick links dashboard here, we're going to leave that and as everybody can see it. So we're not going to use audience targeting. Let's republish this page. And now we've got our audience targeting all set up. Now, when I go to new news post, what we will be able to see now is when I create this and start to work on this, in the properties or the page details of this page, we will have again that additional section here where I can target this at a specific audience. So if I go SG-IT, we can target it like so, and this is an IT update, IT department only. All right, so we'll go IT department only. Now, remembering that audience targeting isn't security trimming, so people still have access to actually see this page. It's just not displayed in the web part that we've configured there on the home page. All right, so let's just choose a header image. Now, one thing to note with our news and our pages is that we can have a different header image to that of the thumbnail. So you'll see here that we can change our thumbnail if we wanted to as well. So the header can have a different image to that of the thumbnail. So we'll choose a little popcorn cinema icon or thumbnail here. Now let's post this news. All right, so we'll post the news. Now, when we jump back onto the home page, what will happen is that only members of that security group will see that news article. All right, so you can see here Megan, who is logged in, not part of that security group, doesn't see that link and doesn't see that news article either. All right, so the last thing that we're going to step through here is our global navigation. So again, because we're personalizing things, we might want to build out a personalized navigation structure and not display every single link to every single user. So again, we can enable site navigation audience targeting at this level. So again, here, I'm going to choose a link. Let's just pop a link to this page or this site, and we will target that at that IT group again. All right, so this could be IT department. Now, this is where, when you're building out your navigation, this is where a combination of security trimming and audience targeting can be very, very useful to combine, because from a permission side, we've got the security trimming around an IT site, let's say. Now, we may not want that visible in the global navigation of an intranet. So think of team sites. Team sites could potentially be private sites to that particular group of people. Now, we want to have those available to those people in a global navigation, but we don't want them displayed to everybody. So what we can do is combine this. All right, so having the security at the site level, but then we can target this at a specific security group like so. All right, so there we go. We've got that, and we click OK. You can see again, similar to the quick links, we've got this little icon to show us that this navigation item has been targeted at a specific group. We'll save it. And then you'll also, again, you'll notice that this user Megan isn't part of the IT security group. So that link in the global nav does not appear. All right. So there we have it. Starting from scratch, we've now built out an example of a proof of concept of an intranet homepage that is now personalized. So it will now display different content to different people depending on the way that the content has been targeted at specific audiences. And we've also added some personalization here in the vertical section with our recent documents and our most frequented sites for that logged in user. So I really hope that session brings you some value today. You learned a lot of different concepts and a few different web parts there that you can take and start to implement into your intranet or into your sites. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.